welcome to National Geographic. You're watching a special edition about London.
We will follow a route through London and give information about 4 monuments.
Our first reporter will talk about Westminster Bridge.
We will go live to Lieve McGee, who is standing in front of the Westminster Bridge.
Lieve, what can you tell about it?
Hello everyone, I'm here in London standing in front of the Westminster Bridge, the oldest road bridge in London. The Westminster Bridge is an astonishing 252 metres long, and from it you have an amazing view of the Big Ben, the London Eye and the House of Parliament. It was built by the Swiss architect Charles Laboulaye and it cost £625,000 to build it. The finances were the lottery, the grant and the capital. But the problem was that this bridge had sinking foundations, and so constant repair had to be done to it. The Westminster Bridge was built because the inhabitants thought it would be handy to have to cross the River Thames by boats every time they wanted to go to the other side. Another option was to take a long detour, but many inhabitants didn't like doing this. In the mid-19th century, the bridge was too expensive to maintain and its condition was getting worse. Therefore, Sir Thomas Page rebuilt it in 1862. The new bridge was 250 metres long and had 7 arched spans. It had Gothic detailing to it, and it even had a tramway on it, but this was removed in 1952. Westminster Bridge is still used as a footpath and as a road crossing the River Thames. Many tourists like to visit it because from it you can take beautiful pictures of the London Eye, the House of Parliament and the Big Ben. This is why it's a great tourist attraction. Back to the studio with Carol and Melissa.
Oh boy, that was interesting!
Our next reporter is Chrisje van Ravenswijk-Klaassen. She is standing in front of the Buckingham Palace.
We go live to Chrisje right now. Chrisje, what can you tell about the Buckingham Palace?
Hello everyone, I'm standing in front of Buckingham Palace to tell you more about it. It's the official home of the royal family since 1837. Buckingham Palace is 108 meters long, 120 meters deep and 24 meters high. The total floor area is 77,000 square meters and in total Buckingham Palace has 775 rooms. These rooms include 52 bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, a ballroom, and a lot more. The garden covers more than 16 hectares, which include a helicopter landing area, a lake, and a tennis court. Buckingham Palace was built in 1705 for John Sheffield, the Duke of Buckingham, but then it was still called the Buckingham House. In 1761, King George III bought it for his wife and asked William Chambers to remodel it. In 1826, King George IV asked architect John Nash to transform and expand the Buckingham House into Buckingham Palace. Eventually, Queen Elizabeth was the first one who really lived in it. When the Queen is at home, they raise the royal flag on top of the Buckingham Palace, called the Royal Standard. But they can never raise this flag when she's not at home. They always raise this flag at a place where she is. The flag represents England, Scotland, and Ireland. The guards in front of Buckingham Palace wear red jackets and tall furry hats, called bearskins. Every morning between April and July, and some other mornings, there is a changing of the guard ceremony. This means that the old guards are replaced by new guards. This is a special event with a lot of music and a lot of audience. Back to you.
Thank you for the really interesting information. Our third reporter is Robert Paul van den Velde.
He's going to talk about the House of Parliament. He's live right now. Robert Paul, what do you have to say?
Westminster Palace is the meeting place of the House of Commons and the House of Lords, the two houses of Parliament of the United Kingdom. It is also known as the heart of British politics. Westminster Palace is laid in the city of Westminster on the northern bank of the River Thames in the centre of London. Westminster Palace has two palaces, the Old Palace and the New Palace. The Old Palace is destroyed by a great fire in 1834, and its replacement, the New Palace, has kept the old structures and the medieval style of the Old Palace. The palace is one of the centres of political life in the United Kingdom. Westminster has become a metronym for the UK Parliament. Westminster City system of government has taken its name after it. The Elizabeth Tower in particular is often referred by the name of its main bell, the Big Ben. It's an iconic landmark of London and the United Kingdom in general. One of the most popular tourist attractions is in the city and is an emblem of parliamentary democracy. The Palace of Westminster has been Grade 1 listed building since 1970 and part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987. Back to you.
Great information.
And now, last but not least, Famke Wakkerman, standing right in front of the Big Ben.
We go live to Famke Wakkerman. Famke, what can you tell about the
Big Ben.
Yes, I'm here in front of the Big Ben. First, to clear everything up, the Big Ben is the great bell inside the tower. The tower itself is called the Elizabeth Tower. It was first called the Clock Tower, but it was renamed in 2012 after Queen Elizabeth II because she had been on the throne for 60 years. There are 4 nameless quarter bells and there are 4 clocks on each side of the tower. They are called the Great Westminster Clocks. The Big Ben was actually built because the Palace of Westminster burned down in a huge fire in 1834. So in 1844 it was decided that the new buildings of the House of Parliament should include a clock and a tower. The tower was designed by Augustus Pugin and it was actually designed in Gothic Revival style. The tower was exactly 96 meters high.
The tower has no lift, and anyone who wants to get up to the Big Ben, which is all the way at the top, has to climb 334 steps. So the tower was actually built from the inside out, so people who passed by could not see the scaffolds, which are the working platforms builders stand on. The tower also had a prison room for anyone who could not behave. It took a long time for everything to be finished building because there were some problems building the tower and making the bell. One of the problems was that the first bell actually broke on its way to the tower, and the second bell cracked when the hammer hit it because the hammer was twice as heavy as it should have been. The bell was turned an eighth, so the hammer would hit a different place, and it has never been repaired since. The Big Ben was finally finished in July 1858. The main use of the Big Ben today is still a clock. It is famous for its reliability, although over the past few years, many reporters of news like to use the Big Ben as an icon for London, and many movies are shot near the Big Ben. But because the public isn't allowed to go in, it doesn't have another function than being a real famous clock.
Watching National Geographic. See you next time.